Hey everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. The new Spider-Man game is out, finally, after years of waiting for it. It's finally out on store shelves and you can play it. We've had it for the last couple of weeks and you can check out our review on the channel as well. Needless to say, this has been one of the most hyped and anticipated games, I don't know, of all time, and it's just brilliant. 5-star reviews across the board, and it's just an absolute delight to play. There's a whole bunch of tips and tricks that you might want to take on board whilst you're webbing around New York and webbing up some different goons in the process. With no other delays in mind, I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and these are 14 tips and tricks Spider-Man PS4 doesn't tell you. Number 14, tap R1 in midair for slow motion shooting. Now you'll already know that you can just hammer R1 to blast out a bunch of different web balls, tying up different goons, but if you do this in midair, the game slows down altogether and you have a more specific targeting reticule that you can use to web up guys far away or manage crowds of guys that are up close. If you hold L2, you can even aim more specifically, but knowing that tapping R1 in midair slows everything down will give you a breather in those more intense fights. Number 13, redirect yourself in midair with L2. Now this is something that Insomniac clearly learned from the Amazing Spider-Man games by Beanox or Treyarch or whoever the hell it was. When you were diving through the city, you could always pause in midair and redirect Spider-Man towards a different thing. It was a pretty cool mechanic and it meant that you could redirect yourself in midair. Perhaps you're responding to a crime or you just want to pivot back a different direction, whatever. Just hold L2 in midair in this game, and again, time will slow to a crawl, but you can aim at different ledges or different things that you want to go to, tap R2, and you'll just ping pong in a different direction. Just keep it in mind if you need to respond to a different crime, or if one of those random pigeons turns up and you want to go and chase it down. Number 12, unlock map quadrants to locate random crimes. Now the game does tell you that there are going to be random crimes in the world, but it's part of the tutorial, which means that you don't have to spend any time going to the radio towers to unlock the full map. Basically, at the beginning of the game, you're responding to what are, the tutorial crimes. They're the ones that the game wants you to respond to so that you can get a feel for bank robberies and car heists and kidnappings and all that kind of thing. But once everything opens up and you've got the new suit and you start just exploring in the world and a random crime pops up, you'll only hear it, you won't be able to see it, even if you click the right stick in. To change that and locate exactly what that noise is and where you need to go, you need to unlock the specific part of the map, the quadrant, where the crime is taking place. So just keep an eye on the map and look out for the different radio towers, track them down, and next time someone's screaming for help, you'll actually be able to go help them. Number 11, suit powers aren't suit specific. Now this took me far longer than it should have done to realize, but when you're unlocking the new suits, they all come with suit specific powers. For example, the Scarlet Spider can spawn clones, or the Stark suit can, unleash SpiderBro, or whatever. I kind of just thought that they were suit specific powers, which isn't the case at all. When on the suit menu, just go into the suit specific power and you'll actually see a whole rollout of every single suit power that you've got so far, regardless of which costume it was tied to. It means that you can equip, SpiderBro or Electric Fists or whatever on any costume you want. So even if there's a costume that you don't like the look of, like that weird black yellow armor thing, it might still be worth unlocking because you can then bring across the power and put it into something like the 616 suit. Number 10, use the camera to trigger unique dialogue. Now I don't mean the in-game camera, the right analog stick move the camera type thing. I mean tap up on the D-pad and equip the lens camera, the one that you use to take photos of landmarks. Because basically when you go up to stuff like the Avengers Tower, even if you're crawling all over it and standing in the middle of the helipad, the one that Tony Stark uses to become Iron Man, Spidey doesn't say anything. But if you tap up on the D-pad and equip the camera and then take a photo of the Avengers Tower, then you'll get the dialogue. You can do this for a bunch of different things around the city and, well, it's worth just going to different places and seeing what you can find. Number 9, bounce off walls to catch shielded and shock stick enemies. These guys suck. Maybe not as much as the big brutes that just don't obey the same laws of timing that all the other guys do. When you want to counter them, they just keep pummeling you into oblivion. But the shock stick guys and the riot shield guys just dodge towards a wall and press square to bound back off it and hit one of them. You'll knock them sideways any direction you want and you can follow it up with a combo. You can even hold square and launch them into the sky and continue going that way. Basically, the game does say, hey look, you can bounce off the walls, but it doesn't point out that it's a great tactic to use against these guys. Number 8, try to attack to salute citizens. Now this I just found because, video games, and I'm not going to be in an open world game with random NPCs and pedestrians and not try and kill them. I mean, I've been brought up on Grand Theft Auto, so what are you going to do? In Spider-Man, if you go up to citizens and you press square or triangle to try and do something, Insomniac thought of that, and Spidey will instead just do the little gun hands, or perhaps he'll do a bit of that, or salute them. There's also some contextual prompts that you'll get if you hang around a bunch of citizens for long enough. One of them will get a triangle prompt above their head, and you can go up and high five or shake hands or whatever. But if you want to press square or triangle to do the whole, just taking care of the city kind of thing, you totally can. You can do it as much as you want, and it's pretty cool. Number 7, web guys to walls and floors for easy takedowns. Back to the whole spamming R1 to web up dudes thing, it's really good as a combo ender. It's really good as a way to finish someone off. Even the big brute guys, you can just web them up if you want to get some free hits in. Point being though, if you do this near a wall, the game will recognize that and it will just stick them to the wall. So basically, if you want to take someone out that's far away, that's just dinging you with bullets over and over again, like those pesky rocket guys, just, maybe use the thing where you're in midair to make sure you get the shot off, and just webbing annoying enemies to walls makes combat a hell of a lot less frustrating. Number 6, use SpiderBro during stealth attacks. Okay, so this one is kind of like not a glitch, but a little bit abusive of the game's setup. Basically, once you get the Stark suit, the one that he wears in Civil War, you'll unlock SpiderBro, which is the name given to the little drone guy, so you can just click the sticks in and send him out. He's meant to be used in combat because he uses volleys of rockets to keep enemies at bay, but as I found out, if you trigger this during like a stealth infiltration, you'll just send SpiderBro out. SpiderBro don't care. He'll just go on in there. And even though there are guards trying to patrol and trying to be all stealthy, and you might still be in the shadows, SpiderBro's just laying down missiles left, right, and center. He's just taking people out, and the question marks spring up in all directions. All the other guards are like, what the hell's even going on? But you can basically just unleash SpiderBro as a stealth attack, even though he's not meant to be, and just watch all the ensuing carnage from the shadows. Basically, it's hilarious, and I recommend you do it. Number 5, how to change the time of day. Now, you might have realized when you're spending 10, 20 hours swinging around the city, that day doesn't actually turn to dusk or turn to night. It's actually predicated on specific story missions, which, again, might make you think that you're just stuck in a perpetual, night cycle or a daylight cycle or whatever. I'm not going to spoil, specifics of the ending, but the game does let you choose what time of day you'd like to swing around in. You just need to finish it first. Number 4, learn to use web zip instead of counter. This is something that I just learned the hard way. I was just getting smashed from behind by brutes, calm down, over and over and over again. And it's basically because I was trying to play it like every other game that has this style of combat. Now, I'll get to that as a separate point, but you basically want to start thinking of the web zip as your go-to counter button. If you can get out the way of an attack, you're still going to dodge those bullets, you're still going to dodge the rockets, but it means that you're closing the distance on someone else. I kind of grew to rely on this more than waiting for the timing window on the counter, and honestly, I think it's better in terms of taking on groups of dudes. It means that you can just get out of there and you can catch up with someone else and keep the combo going elsewhere, not worrying about, the specifics of dodging that exact projectile. Number 3, aerial tricks earn XP. As if swinging through the city and, latching onto the Daily Bugle and pinging yourself down the street wasn't fun enough, you can actually unlock a trick system. There's not much to it other than just holding down triangle and circle and then pushing a direction on the analog stick, but it means you can do all sorts of somersaults and left and right twists. You can combo them into your wall runs or, whatever you're going to do. Does whatever a spider can, but now with a trick system. Point being, though, that you can actually earn XP this way. It's not very much. It's only like 2 or 5 or 10, depending on how much you can chain together, but it's a nice little way of earning some XP when you're going from mission to mission. Number 2, how to swing as fast as possible. Now, there is a weird, subtle depth to the swinging in Spider-Man. When the game first starts, it just says, hey, hold R2, and we'll do everything for you. The only thing you're going to be doing is tapping X to jump off one web strand and connect to another one. But as I found in my 10, 20, plus whatever it is now, hours in the game, there is a little more to it. You kind of want to swing with R2 and release with Spidey at the apex of the swing, kind of as he's coming back out of the bottom of it. When you do that, when you get back into midair, then press X and do a couple of web zips to build up some speed. It means that the next time when you go into the next swing, you go into it faster and you come out of it faster again. You can chain this with the dive by pressing L3, and it basically means that you've always got access to a way of speeding Spider-Man up. You'll notice how much you've slowed down if you ever hit a building or just randomly land. There is a speed to the way that Spidey moves, even though it's actually quite subtle. There is a way to build it up, though. Essentially, to recap, you do want to swing as much as possible, but come out of those swings at the most opportune time, hit X when you're in midair, do the web zips, do the dives, chain all of that stuff together, and you'll get going as fast as possible. Do not just rely on holding R2. You'll never catch those cards, and you'll never catch those villains. And number 1, don't play it like Batman Arkham. There's a lot of comparisons going around, and, chances are we'll probably do a Spider-Man versus Batman Arkham thing. It's obvious, isn't it? But one of the biggest problems with that comparison comes with trying to play it like Arkham Asylum, or basically trying to play Spider-Man like every other game that has this combat model, whether it be Sleeping Dogs or even other older Spider-Man games. Doing it like that means that you're restricting your movement, and it means that you're always waiting for the counter prompt above someone's head before pushing the button, doing your rhythmic button presses, and then just continuing as if you were playing one of those games. Basically, use everything from L2 and R2 so that you can zip up onto one of the rafters to bouncing off the walls to keep people guessing. Just stay on the move. One of the things that the Arkham combat has trained us to do is kind of just sit back and wait for those counter prompts and go from there. Build your combos in that rhythmic sort of sensibility, and you end up playing every fight the exact same way. One of the coolest ways that Insomniac have mixed things up is by introducing athleticism and movement and kineticism to the way that Spidey moves, and by indulging in that stuff, the game will keep up with you. You basically just need to keep moving as much as possible, and that's how you get the most out of the combat system. So that's my list so far. As you can tell, I'm a humongous fan of the game so far. I kind of want to just 100% it and go from there. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have there been any other tips and tricks that you found that you can share with the rest of us? I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon. Goodbye.